Alright, so we're going to talk about volume and surface area, and when we talk about them, we're looking at the formulas, and luckily, for the first time in a few years, they're actually going to provide you with the formulas. So we just need to know what the formulas stand for, what the letters stand for, and how to use them. Okay, so on the back side here, we're going to fill in some things, and then we're going to do a couple examples, and then we're going to move on from there. Okay, R stands for circle, and it stands for radius, which is just halfway across a circle. D stands for diameter, and that's in a circle, and it's all the way across a circle. Okay. H stands for height.
Sydney Vaughn, please go to Mr. Allen. Sydney Vaughn.
This symbol is pi. Okay, and it stands for pi, and I'm going to show you how we write it, Pi. And then when we use this, there is a pi symbol on your calculator. So you can use the pi symbol, but a lot of the times you would just leave it as 3.14. Okay. W stands for width. L stands for length. I already gave you H, so we can mark that one out. S stands for side length. And B stands, it's a large B, it's a big B, so that means it's the area of the base. So when you have a capital B, you're going to find the area of the base. Okay? So we're going to jump into an example for volume, an example for surface area, and I do expect you guys to write out the formula. I do expect you to show me plugging in the work. I do expect to see all of these things. Okay? So, for volume of a cone, okay, we're going to flip it over, flip the paper over, and find the formula. Volume of a cone is right here. Volume of a cone is V equals 1/3 big B H. So over here, I'm going to write this out. V equals 1/3 big B H. Okay? Now, the base of this cone is a circle. So we're going to fill in what the area of a circle is for that big B. So right here, we're going to bring down the 1/3, and we're going to find the formula for the area of a circle. So flip it back over. Area is right here. Circle is here, so area equals pi r squared. Okay, so here we're going to put 1/3 pi r squared, and we're going to bring the h down. Okay, so I'm going to put my equal sign. I'm going to put 1/3. I'm going to leave it as pi. I'm going to look over here, and it tells us r is 4. Okay, so it's squared. So I want you to write times 4 times 4. And then the height is 8 times 8. We're writing this twice because the radius is squared. Okay? And I don't want you to have to work through the order of operations and have an extra line. So that's why we write it out the whole time, both times. So then we're going to go here. Equals. Okay? And you can do this one of two ways. I'm going to show you both ways, and you pick which way you like the best. Okay? So you can take the numerator and multiply it by the numbers. So 1 times 4 times 4 times 8 equals, and then divide it by 3. And you would have 6 repeated, and then pi inches cubed. Because it's volume, you got to include your unit, and it will be cubed. So you can write it like this. You could plug it in where you multiply the 1 with all the numbers and then divide by 3. Or, well, there's actually 3 ways. Or you could plug it in 1/3, 1 divided by 3 equals, and then multiply by 4, 4, and 8. You get the same number, just depends on whichever way you like to do it. Okay, and you still get this answer. So you can have this answer with pi in the answer. Sometimes it's left that way, so I want you guys to see what that looks like. Another way is that they would take this and actually multiply it by pi, and then you would get the answer, which would be 134.0. I'm going to round to the nearest tenth, and we talked about that in class the last 2 days. Okay, 134.0, our unit is inches, and it is to the third because volume is 3-dimensional. Okay. Now we're going to look at a problem for surface area, so I'm going to slide this over. Okay, so for surface area, I'm not going to slide that over because then I'm going to have to flip my paper over. We have to look at the faces. So the base of this pyramid is a square, and we have 1 square. So 1 square. We have to know all the sides of the shape. And then the faces of it are triangles, and there are 4 triangles. There's a triangle on each side of that square, so 4 triangles. So to find the surface area, you're going to find the area of 1 square and the area of 4 triangles and then add them together. So I'm going to do 2 parts here, and then I'm going to come up with a total. So I'm going to do square first. Okay, and then we're going to have a triangle. Okay, so I'm going to flip the paper over, and we're going to look for the formula for the area of a square. So under area, we find square, A equals side squared. Okay, and we flip it back over, A equals S squared. Now, the S stands for side length, which we're looking at the square here. The length of the side of the square is 4. So this would be 4 to the second, which would be 16 inches squared. Area is 2 dimensions, so that's why it's squared. Okay. The triangle, okay, we got to find the formula for a triangle, so we flip it over. Okay, triangle is 1/2 BH. Now this B is a different, okay, it's a little b, it's the base. We didn't talk about that, so let's go ahead and write that up there real quick. The little b stands for length of base. Okay. So now I'm going to go back down here. My triangle area equals 1/2 BH. So I'm going to bring down my 1/2. I'm going to multiply it by the base of the triangle. So the length of the base down here is 4. The height goes from the vertex or the tip down to the base, which is right here, is 7. Okay, and then I know I can do this in my head. 1/2 of 4 is 2. 2 times 7 is 14. So this would be 14 inches squared. Now, we have 1 square, so I'm just going to bring down my 16. And I'm going to add it to my triangles. But I have 4 triangles, so I'm going to have to multiply this by 4 to get my entire area for the triangles. So 14 times 4 is 56. So then I'm going to add the two areas together. 56 plus 16 is 72. So my surface area would be 72 inches squared. You have to include your unit and you have to include the correct exponent on the unit. So make sure you're doing both of those.